So I'm outside of some random little podunk gas station, trying to get my way home from work. And I can't even see what's going on up in here with my own eye. But I am having one hard time trying to get into fourth. I just drove about 7 miles by putting it in third and pulling it up to about 5,500 RPM. So yeah, that's fun. I'm gonna see if I can't find a better place to park because this is not working. I can't get under my car. So I pulled the car up onto this curb, which just happens to be where this random gas station fills up their fuel tanks. So I got to get out of here pretty quick. But now I can actually get underneath the car. So what I found to be the problem is a function of the fact that this whole setup is not exactly the best. You see, the adjuster for the shifter, the threads are gone. So I had to do this podunk little setup here to get it to where I could actually have gears. That involves a couple of nuts on either side with some pieces of tubing. Yeah, the nuts backed off and went all the way forward, making it to where fourth gear was non-existent. So I'm gonna get this in here, see if I can't tighten it up with the crappy little wrench I have in my toolbox. And yeah, motor on home. At the very least, it's something small. First off, don't mind the mess. I just worked 48-hour shift, so this is just kind of a function of it. But first, well, clutch in first, second, third, fourth. Yep, it shifts through the gears. What do you know about that? Just as it should. So now I get to motor on home. Well, howdy there, vintage lovers. This is it's the day. Oh, and I'm popular. So I'm about to head over and hang out with Jet from Scott's Speed Shop. We're going to the Mopar, or what was it? We're going to the Southern Plains Mopar Fest, that's what it is. So it should be a good time. Swap meet going on, big car show. There's actually drag racing on Route 66, so that's pretty cool. I won't be participating, but I'll be there to have fun and watch it. So yeah, if I see anything cool along the way, I'll make sure and pick up the camera and let y'all know. Oh, and by the way, I've just been informed that my girlfriend's dad might be watching, so hi. You know, it's crazy how many miles this engine is sat right there between 34 to 3,600 RPM, and yet it still has great oil pressure. This little 318 always impresses me with how resilient it's been. This truck up in front of me has an Alberta plate. I've never seen a Canadian plate around these parts. It's insane to me to see one in Oklahoma. Well, looks like I found some of the action at least. I dig this little thing. So right here we have the car that stole the quarter glass off my car. You know, I do quite enjoy the Charger body, but 73, 74 has the same quarter as the Satellite, so that tells you which car was the better one. So, got a 440 block in it. It kind of says that it stroked out to 493 cubic inches. You know, 500 stroke kit, just not a big enough bore. Pretty slick looking car though. He said he bought it at the age of 17. I really dig this thing. So far, you know, I hadn't gone very far, but so far this is my favorite car that I've seen. And the best part of it all is it's actually nice inside. I don't know what a nice interior looks like. And he says that this is actual leather. Now that's a crazy contraption. Trying to get through the band plan, I really like this car. Well, I think I found them in their natural habitat, looking at ratty Mopars. What say you?
Hey Tanner, how you doing, man?
Oh, can't complain. How about yourself? Michael, nice to see you. Now that is awesome. 426 wedge. I don't know that I've ever actually seen one of these, and it's in one killer car. Finally, we have something halfway ratty that I really enjoy. I like looking at this thing. I mean, look at this front end. Nice stuff, a little bit of damage, but 1960 Plymouth. Wait a minute. It says 225 in it. Got all three pedals with the 3 on the tree, so that's it's pretty kick-ass, I must say. I dig this thing. It's the level of ratty that I expect from something this old, though. Definitely got the forward look with this one. It's a little bit post fancy tail fins, of course, but I dig this thing. I dig it. You know, until just now, I didn't know what a nice one of these cars looked like. 75 Dart is what this one is.
And it's actually nice. It's kind of crazy. You also don't see very many of these. There's actually 2 of these here. Check out the Valiant wagon. They actually got all 8 cylinders, 273 Commando it says. It even has all 3 pedals on it. Man, we actually got the Commando valve covers in this thing. That's pretty cool. I'm digging on these early A's right about now. 65 Barracuda. I actually got a buddy that has one of these. Yeah, that's super nice on the inside though. Once again, I don't know what a nice Mopar looks like on the inside. You know, I'm not much on wing cars, but I'm digging this because it's ratty. It's just the way that it should be. See, this is the kind of wing car that you see and you're actually halfway willing to drive it around. You're not scared that someone's going to come along and scratch it because, well, it's already got scratches. What's one more? I'm surprised at how nice this is on the inside though. I guess he's got his priorities straight. Get the inside nice first. Of course, it does have all 3 pedals down there with a pistol grip shifter. And look at this. It's true. You can sit up on the wings of these cars and it doesn't fall through. You know, it goes to show just what kind of person I am whenever I walk past all these fancy nice cars that are out here and go to this right here. This thing is awesome. I love this thing. Look at that. It's all ratted and used. It's got the way back seat in it. No headliner. He's got his fishing pole sticking out the back. I like this. Dings, dents all over. It reminds me of the Chrysler, full-size Chrysler version of my Pinto. And the wraparound bumper. Yeah, I love this thing. Favorite car I've seen yet. Finally found my favorite front end right here. It's hard to beat. The 73 through 76 Plymouth A-body. Once again, we have my favorite front end for the A-bodies. I don't know why. I call it an endearment, you know, growing to love this front end. It's my favorite. Do have a small block in it, pretty cool looking little car. High impact, I swear it. Viper yellow it says the color is. It's got an automatic on the floor, nothing too awful special, but I dig it. You know, I would drive this thing everywhere. And once again, super nice interior. I don't know what that's like. All right, well, the show's honestly been a bit of a bust, so I'm gonna mosey on out. There's a couple spots on Route 66 I want to show you all though, because of course I drove Route 66 from Stroud to Bristow here where this is at, and it's pretty cool. Interesting history that I'll be able to show you also. Stay tuned. All right, so I stopped on the side of the road to show y'all this right here. So this sign tells us that this goes through the town of Depew, the main street. It's actually, as they say, the original 1926 alignment. Interesting fact about this, it was only this way for 2 years. It came through, you see, this is actually an old original section. Came through right here, right about where I'm parked, made a left, went all the way up into the town, come around, and then way off over there, only about a half mile away, it came back and went back to the, you know, direction it's supposed to go. 2 years later though, they decided, I guess screw this town, and cut through and made the road right here, just straight, bypass the town of Depew. So it's an interesting little bit of information here, and you know, it's cool. I appreciate old history of road. I hope some of y'all do too. Right back there showed a sign telling us about how this is the 1926 through 1928 alignment for Route 66. It goes right through the middle of town. I'm sure that this town was thriving for that short little time period, but of course now, ain't much left of it. Just buildings of history. So here we are in another old original part of Route 66. It's a section that just got redone. The new section's right on the other side of the grass. I've never driven down this, I've always wanted to. Now it's basically just access to people for their homes. I don't even know how far this goes, but there's multiple places for you to get back on the highway, so I know I'm safe. Sad reality is, the turnpike is right there. I think people pay to drive on roads like that. Old Route 66 sign talking about the town. Going through Davenport now. Finally making my way out of it. Ain't much of a town here, but hey, you know what? It's on historic Route 66. So Chandler here is a very interesting town. It does not feel that it belongs in Oklahoma with the way that it's set up. But I mean, come on, you got someone over here driving a Bug. I mean, that thing's just the cutest. Not as cool as my Satellite though. But this town has so much weird elevation change in it. It seriously does not feel like it belongs in this part of the state. It feels like it's kind of mountainous. Fun story about this section of road. One of my buddies was leaving this town behind me one time. Don't mind that tire scratch. Anyway, one of my buddies was leaving this town behind me one time and decides to just go full throttle, see how fast he could get going. And I believe that was the first time he ever went over 100 miles an hour, and he did it in his 86 Camaro with a 305 and a 700 R4. That very engine that brought him to 100 miles an hour has been featured on my channel before. Yeah, he completely destroyed a piston and ruined the block. It was a fun video. I recommend it. Fun fact, I watched someone turn around, do a U-turn right through here, and they hopped off the ledge right there. Yeah, their car was up on 3 wheels at that point. Pretty fun to watch. And I thought, you guys are an idiot, because it was only like a quarter mile away from the next road. Why didn't they just turn around at the road? Oh, by the way, there's a dirt track right there. I've been there one time, just because a buddy's kid was racing. Never mentioned I'm not a dirt tracker by any means. I don't get it. I don't understand building a car just to smash it up. Oh well, it ain't my fun, but it's other people's fun, so they have fun at it. All right, now we're fueled up, aired up, and I'm about to take this car on the longest trip it's ever done. My destination is 150 miles away. The furthest it's gone to the date is 100 miles away, you know, excluding No Name Nationals on a trailer. That's a whole different story. But yeah, 150 mile trip to where I'm going, 150 miles back thereabouts, so let's get to rocking and rolling. Let's get some miles under our belts. That's the highest I've ever seen this gas gauge read. It actually says full tank. Never seen that. You know, at one point there's a bunch of trees on the left side of the road over here, but now you just get this awe-inspiring view. It's kind of scary when they first did that though. I didn't know what to think. Fun thing I've done at this little section of road is drive 82 miles an hour with lights and sirens on. That's as fast as the ambulance will go, by the way. You know, the camera really doesn't do this area justice. There's a lot of rolling hills and it's very pretty to drive around. And I need to put air back in my shocks. Running between 14.5 to 15 to 1. That's why this car, despite being, you know, not tuned for highway driving as far as like no vacuuming bands or anything like that, highway, you know, real low gears rather, all this RPM, this thing still gets like 17 miles to the gallon, 17, 18. All because I have an O2 gauge on this thing and I actually tuned it up to where it runs fairly lean. So I'm coming into Eufaula. I'm just now inside of their city limits. Now there's an interesting fact about this town. You see, there's a Eufaula Lake. And what Eufaula Lake is, it used to be a floodplain. And the town of Eufaula was originally inside of this floodplain. So they moved the entire town out of that little area, dammed it off, and made the lake on top of the town. So there's certain parts of that lake where there's buildings underneath. You know, you got to be real careful if you're, I don't know, those fishermen out there. I don't know much about fishing, whatever they do. Yeah, you have to be careful out there because you could end up dragging, getting caught on buildings, especially if the water's low. You know, I gotta say, going down Main Street here in Eufaula, I'm surprised at how many people were walking around back there. It's pretty neat. You know, I've seen a couple young couples that looked like they were just having a good old time enjoying each other's company, and I appreciated seeing that. You don't see that as much as you used to, and it makes me sad that's the way that it is now. Yep, right over there, that's the lake that engulfed the town. might suffice to say that it feels like a tenth of this state is this lake. It is crazy how big it is. Down that road is the Port of Kyoto. And I believe this is the Arkansas River. Yeah, look at all this. It's huge. It's big enough they got a port on it. So you may just be able to see off in the distance. It looks like there's a mountain, but it's not actually a mountain. So what that is Kavanaugh Hill. It's the world's tallest hill. It is 1 foot shy of being a mountain. I've always wanted to climb it. I don't think I'm going to do that this trip because I kind of want to have a baffled oil pan before I climb that mountain. It's a, well, mountain hill. Before I climb that hill. And yeah, I don't have a baffled oil pan, so yeah. We'll save it for next time. You know, I feel like singing some Van Halen because we're entering into Panama. Hopefully you'll know what I'm talking about there. If you don't, then you're a loser. Man, does it feel like I'm going off into the backwoods with this road. Woo! Man, rough on the old tires it is. If I remember correctly, there should be a bridge right about here. I feel like it should be coming up quick. Yeah. Remember what I said about putting air in the shocks? I really need to do that. Now that is a bridge. It's pretty far down there too. Yeah, the car made it without a hiccup, just as I knew it would. And yeah, that's quite the interesting looking little setup, I must say. That's something my father's been doing for years now. They call it the prairie wagon. It's, you know, just a little canopy, so that way you can sleep in the bed. Got a couple cot setup stuff in there. It's pretty nice. Well, had a nice long day of work here at the dirt bike races. Got to do some sweeping, which is just where you ride around and make sure no one's hurt. Got to watch road crossing for a while. It's pretty all right. Give me extra points so that way I can not only get a jacket at the end of the year, but it'll also maybe bump me up a few places. We'll see. I'm in a faster class than I really need to be, so it's more just having fun. But the old satellite is fired back up, and we're about to head back on home. This really is quite the beautiful area, though. It's got this cool little pond over here. It's a nice little spot to camp out. Dude, why are you dusting me out so much? Now, right over here is something kind of interesting. It's the Wrong Turn House of Horrors. I have no idea exactly what goes on here, but this weekend they were pretty happening. Seen quite a few cars off in there and the lights were shining. You know, I have no idea what this car is, but it's pretty slick. And right over there, you know, just where you can't see it because of where I'm located and, you know, the sun and everything, there's something else kind of cool. Just a random little spot in the town of Panama, and there's just these cool cars. There's actually quite a few in this small town. Now hopefully this stupid toy hauler trailer, humongous setup up in front of us will move, because I want to leave. Better look at that. And some other cool stuff over here that's even for sale, some of it. That Ford was for sale a while back. I wonder if they like C10s there. Old race car right there, probably dirt track. You know, it's too bad the camera doesn't do this view justice. And I missed where you can see a good portion of the lake. But I swear, Oklahoma here on the eastern side of the state, you travel Highway 9, it is beautiful. Well, she made it back home without a hiccup, just as I knew she would. So, that's gonna be it for the video on this car for now. This thing is gonna need a little bit of work soon, but that'll be for next time.